Welcome back to another episode of Don't Quote Us Sports. It is Tuesday, January 6th, episode 37. Herb, let's start it off. You ready for some athletes that have worn the infamous number 37?
Hell yeah, I got one for you too. I got a little surprise pick for the young man.
Okay, I'll start with the NFL. I think this is where the majority reside. Got to shout out Hall of Famer Lester Hayes, old defensive back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got another Hall of Famer, Rodney Harrison, safety for the Chargers and Patriots. And then shout out the 37 that I think of, Sean Alexander, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks. Former Madden cover star.
Alabama beauty, baby.
Also feel good. Steve Gleason, for those that don't remember, was the individual who blocked the punt in the first game after Hurricane Katrina for the Saints, and then returned it for a touchdown. He's been battling ALS. They've done plenty of segments on him, so just thought that was a fun little one.
He started that ALS bucket challenge. Like, that was all a Steve Gleason thing. So shout out Steve Gleason.
Yeah, so I felt that was a good one to include. NBA, there wasn't a lot. Derek Fisher wore 37 for a year with the Oklahoma City Thunder. So that was funny. Baseball, we have good old Kenny Rogers, if you remember him. That dude looked like Kenny Rogers. Baseball.
Kenny Rogers is in the elite wind player, the instrumentalist, Kenny Rogers? The sultry sounds?
Yeah, I think the same person. A little throwback for you, Herb. Keith Hernandez.
You're going to have to remind me who Keith Hernandez is.
Pretty sure he was a first baseman for the Mets for a while. I think he might have been featured in a Seinfeld episode or something. We're probably going to catch flack for not knowing much about Keith Hernandez, but
I'm unfamiliar with this game.
He won 11 Gold Gloves, so probably should.
Hey, shout out Mr. Hernandez.
Also won an MVP and 2 World Series and 5 All-Stars. Wow.
We need to do better. Don't quote us. We need to do better.
Yep. Formerly the best pitching prospect in the last 20 years before Paul Skeens, Steven Strasburg, who was ostracized from the MLB recently.
He did rock 37, didn't he?
He did. And then lastly, moving over to the NHL, again, not a lot of big players to wear the number, but one important player that did was good old Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins. For those who know, you know.
Hell yeah. All right, I got one for you, and this is a big one. I'm actually a little shocked you didn't say it.
Okay.
Doak Walker wore 37 at SMU, and seeing as the best running back award is named after him, I feel like we got to throw him in there.
Okay. That's fair. I'll be honest. Didn't realize they wore numbers back then.
I just thought it was a patch and a leather helmet, and let's ride.
I'll be honest. I thought they were just different colored jerseys. And that was it. But shout out Doak Walker. But I told you, Herb, before we started recording, I had a personal life gripe.
It's a qualm, really.
I just need to voice out loud because it happened while I was at the gym today, and it just made me upset.
Did you get touched by the old guy again?
No, unfortunately not. But I don't know if I should have been as upset as I was. But I was at my machine. Right? I was in between sets. I was looking at my my rest timer, because I'm very, very on point with that. 2 minutes on the dot, start the next set, right?
Okay, so
I
you're
look
scrolling
across from me.
TikTok.
Nope. I literally just look at a clock and disassociate for
Jesus.
a minute and a half.
He's on.
So I look at the machine directly across from me, and it's one of those hammer press like chest machines,
Sure. Yeah. Where you can do the incline or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. These ladies, they were super excited and everything. They had loaded up 35 pounds on each side. Quite impressive. Shout out to the ladies getting it in. You know what really pissed me off about that, though, Herb?
Didn't react to weight.
Oh, don't care about that. It's the fact that on one side, they had loaded up a 25-pound plate with a 10-pound plate. And then on the other side, they had loaded up 3 10-pound weights and a 5-pound weight. And I wanted to have it, like, throw a scene, like, make a scene. Like, I was.
My OCD could never. My OCD, I don't care where I'm at, could never.
Dude, I am telling you, the look of disgust that must have came over my face, like, I couldn't hide it. I was, like, so irrationally upset by this that the look of disgust on my face was clearly evident.
It was palatable.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it felt like I was the only one that was aware to what this catastrophic situation that was happening in this gym, and I was the only one that knew what was going on.
Let's make this clear: we are not gym shaming, especially beginning of the year, new people in the gym. I don't need Joey Swole clipping us and coming for our lives here, okay? But what I will say is, it's not hard. It's just mirror image. You got a 25 on one, you put a 25 on the other. That you said before we jumped on, you were worried that I was in that group. First of all, how fucking dare you? Second of all,
I said
no chance.
No, first off, you're twisting my words. I said I needed to see what side you landed on. And then I said I think you're going to agree with me. So don't start that bullshit with me.
And listen, like, the only excuse I could think of is that they couldn't find a 25.
There's plenty of 25 pounds. That's not.
I kind of figured. I kind of figured I was going to ask, like, was there a 25? Could you see one? And it's like, it's right there. That means, here's what happened. That means one of them loaded the left side and a different person loaded the right side. And they were like, fuck it, it's the same weight.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't watch them load it. But then it just, I think what part of me makes me upset is the fact that the 10-pound plates can be more difficult to find if it's busier in the gym.
Yep.
And the fact that they're using up 4 of them when they easily could have just gone a 25 and gotten rid of 2 of them. Or 3
So
of
you're
them,
upset about the monopoly they're running on 10-pounders.
A little bit. I think that's what upset me the most.
You know what? Yeah. Let's call the gym. We need memberships revoked. We're an anti-monopoly kind of people here, okay? We can't have that in our gyms.
Yeah. So that was my gripe. Just had to get that
That's
out
a
there.
fair gripe. While it is very niche, it's very fair.
I feel like I can't be the only one that shares that opinion.
No, that would drive me nuts. You know what else drives me insane is misstacking the weights. Big plates go on the inside, small plates go out to the outside, like a pyramid sideways. The people that sandwich them make me want to scream.
Okay. I don't sandwich them, but I will play devil's advocate. When I do go with Rachel, she obviously lifts a considerable amount less than I do.
Whoa. Hey, we get it, dude. You're strong. We get it, all right? Hit him with it. Just give us a little. There it is.
Not in a mean way, but
I know.
Rather than having to take her weight off between sets, I just say fuck it and I throw whatever weight I need to on top of hers. So it's just less plates for me to deal with.
That's part of the preset reps, buddy. Okay, listen, those forearms are looking tiny. That's how you get to working on those.
I promise you, of one body part I got going on. Forearms are not a weak point.
Well, that's because you're not working them out in the gym. Oh!
That was good. You've probably been sitting on that one.
For months now. I've been waiting for that one.
And then one last thing before we get in. What do you think of the new hat? For the podcast listeners that can see it, I have a Oakland Athletics alternate elephant logo Halloween edition hat with the patch on the side. Oakland Coliseum, just came in the mail today. Christmas present. I feel like it is gas.
As somebody, now listen, I grew up a Cubs fan. I am a diehard Cubs fan, but I also grew up watching the Oakland A's. So as somebody who is a pseudo Oakland A fan, I appreciate you wearing that. That's a good looking hat. It's loud, I'll give you that, but it's a good looking hat.
I got some other good ones too. I got a retro Anaheim Ducks one with a rose, and then I got, what was the other one I got? Oh, I got like a camo type vibe Atlanta Braves hat as well. Trying to diversify.
So Christmas was good to Isaiah, is what you're saying, huh?
Yeah, trying to get into my streetwear era.
Oh, well, next thing you know, you'll be wearing baggy cargo pants and a white T-shirt.
Trust me, I already got them.
Yeah, you
Don't worry about that one.
Of course you do.
Don't worry about that.
Hey, here's the son of a gun, okay? We're filming this on the 5th, release on the 6th of January. Ask me how many presents I've received from loved ones.
No, we're not going to do some like pity party type thing right now.
Not a single one, Isaiah. I had no presents under the tree Christmas morning.
Herb, this is like asking for a handout right now.
I just need a hug. I'm just asking for a hug.
It's like, Jesus.
God, just somebody get this kid a hug. Somebody get this kid a Happy Meal, for God's sakes.
Fuck, man.
No,
I don't know what you want me to say to that. I gave you a gift. It showed up months early, though.
Yes. What I will say is this: is the holidays. We haven't really recorded. The holidays were good for the Matthews Moores family.
Oh yeah, nice and relaxing time here. We stayed in North Carolina, so a lot of FaceTime or a couple FaceTimes with family, and we're going back to Minnesota next month. So I need to prepare to brace the cold again, bust out the winter jacket that's been hiding in my closet since we moved here. Did I tell you why I'm going back to Minnesota next month?
This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, you want to guess why I'm going back?
The marriage license was null and void, and you got to fill out a new one.
No.
Well,
plus,
that was my guess.
You of all people know we got married in Iowa. So.
Oh, true. That is right. Hey, shout out to the witnesses, baby.
Yeah. No. So my Christmas present to my family was, if you didn't know, Rascal Flatts is going on their farewell tour.
About time.
And their first show is in St. Paul, Minnesota. And
are they playing the Bank?
No, they're playing XL Energy, the hockey arena.
Yeah, that makes more sense for them.
But me and my mom, Rachel, and my sister was supposed to go to their previous farewell tour, but then COVID hit, so they had to cancel it. So now they finally got around to rescheduling that. So I figured I'll just make it easy for myself for Christmas, and your present is tickets, and we'll come back and we can go see it.
So they know you're coming. You're not outing yourself here, are you?
No, they know.
Okay.
Very, very well aware. So.
Yeah. Well, that's a hell of a gift for the family. All right, we got pit passes, or are we sitting up in a box?
Fuck no. I don't even know where. I bought those tickets so long ago, I couldn't even tell you where
we're in section 313. You see the ceiling up there, folks? Those seats right there.
Yeah. Okay. I could keep talking about this, but I figured probably should get into sports.
We are a sports podcast, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. So, per usual, we'll start in the NFL. I won't go game by game like I typically might. But I think the two big ones that we probably need to hit on are the ones that had the biggest, I would say, implications. And that was Saturday. We had the Carolina Panthers taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an absolute rainstorm that was Tampa Bay, which made for some ugly football at times. But in classic NFC fashion, right? Obviously, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers find a way to win this game. So then it all comes down to the Atlanta Falcons and New Orleans Saints game on Sunday, because nothing can be easy in that division, right?
Nope, not a damn thing.
And then Atlanta ends up holding on to that game, although New Orleans did give them a scare there towards the end, which means that the Panthers, with an 8-9 record, will be hosting a playoff game this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, that leans more what you said of like we got to get rid of the divisional side. 8-9, tough, right? Good for Charlotte. Good for the Panthers that they get to host a home game. Are you going? Have we looked at tickets?
No, will not be going. I will watch the game with my Panthers shirt that I have purchased. But going back to your point, you make a good point. I think it just goes back to the seeding thing. I just feel like it is so unfair. Like, I think there's enough incentive throughout the entire season, right? Where if you win your division, hey, congrats, you're guaranteed a spot in the playoff. Just because you win your division, though, I do not think makes you deserving to host a playoff game, especially in situations. This is 2 straight years now where we have teams with double-digit wins. We have the Rams and the 49ers with 12 and 13 wins respectively, right? That are now forced to play road playoff games. And if we went strictly by conference standings, let me verify this before I say it out loud. They would be...
Sorry. They'd be like the 7 seed playing.
Yeah. No, they would be the top 3 seeds if they went. They would all have home playoff games.
Yeah.
If this was the NBA.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at it, the Niners got screwed the most. Like, Rams playing in Carolina, weather's probably going to be, 55, 60 degrees, maybe a little bit of rain. They're going to Philly this weekend. It's going to be cold in Philly. It might be snowing in Philly. Like, the Niners got hosed on this one. And the Rams are elated because I told you, the Rams don't do well in the cold in the playoffs. That was evident last year when they had to play Philly in the Snow Bowl. So they're just like, oh, God, thank the Lord we don't have to go back to Philly in the first round.
Plus, you just look at the matchups, too, right?
Yeah.
Rams are a lot happier, right, having to play the Panthers rather than the Eagles. But that just seems – it just I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It feels like we are penalizing teams from good divisions. Because it seems like we have this argument every couple of years. Like, it reminds me of when the Saints, I think the Panthers have made the playoffs at 500 or below 500 before. I remember there was a couple of years where we had 7 and 9 teams making the playoffs. And if we're talking about, like, it just...
I mean, the NFC East was notorious. Like 3 or 4 years in a row, they were sending a sub 500 team to the playoff out of their division. With a home game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you don't have the better record, you can't host a home game.
And like I said, I am fine with them getting in the playoffs because otherwise there's no reason for divisions. You might as well just scrape all divisions and just have conferences at that point. I'm fine with them making it into the playoff, but if you have the worst record of the playoff teams, your ass gets a 7 seed. You are going on the road. I don't know why we give them the advantage of a home game, even though I doubt any team that's made the playoffs with a losing record has ever actually won that game.
Probably not. I can't think of a team that like went on a run like that. I mean, truthfully, great for Charlotte. And I think that is really like the biggest incentive. Not so much that you don't have to travel and you deal with all that, but like the money in. And again, you said it's a drop in the bucket, but you take it all the way down to the event staff and the concession workers, like money in their pockets, and the city making money in the parking lots and the bars and restaurants around town and the hotels. Like, what a great thing for Charlotte. So I'm happy about that. But I will agree with you that, like, as a whole, we got to do better on that. Pull the matchups out of a damn hat if you need to, but know that the better team with the better record is going to host the home. I'm not opposed to the idea.
Yeah, so this will be the fifth time we've seen this happen in NFL history, where a team under 500 has made the playoffs. And the
Is there a win?
previous four, we had the 22 Bucks, finished 8-9, lost in the wild card. 2020, we had the Washington football team, finished at 7-9, lost in the wild card round. 2014, Carolina Panthers finished 7-8-1, lost in the divisional round. And then 2010, Seattle Seahawks finished 7-9, lost in the divisional round.
Okay, so there's 2 wild card wins.
No, they're all losses, 0-4.
Okay, gotcha. Oof. Not history is not in favor of the Carolina Panthers and Dave Canales in this one, huh?
No, but they do have they have the history. They did beat the Rams in Charlotte just a couple weeks ago. So I don't know. That was a good game. We'll see what we get. I do think the Rams will end up winning that one though. But we'll get in that a little bit more here in a second. I do feel like in the offseason, we will see another push for that during the NFL owner meetings. I know it was already voted down last offseason. I forgot which team technically proposed it, but I don't think it was particularly close to passing either. But I think we'll have that argument again this offseason, and I would love to see that implemented.
And part of that fact is that it's the second year in a row where we've had 3 teams out of one division. NFC North last year, NFC West this year. So I think the owners are going to recognize that and go, okay, this is happening more frequently now that it's back to back. Maybe we really do have to sit down and take a look at it.
Yeah.
So,
but Herb, in the AFC, the Steelers have snuck their ass into the playoffs, thanks to a last-second missed field goal by Tyler Loop of the Baltimore Ravens, and again, it just seemed. I can't say I'm surprised at this point, right? Like, it felt like Baltimore had how many opportunities to grab this division that nobody seemed to want to win.
Yep.
And it was just like the storybook of their entire season. It only made sense that they would lose, and they would lose in this type of fashion as well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of hate on Tyler Loop, and a lot of the Tucker would have made it kind of thing, right? And just what a silly comment and conversation to even have. Like, Tucker, yeah, great kicker, huge issues, right? That was evident. Tyler Loop's a rookie kicker, and that's not his fault that you guys lost the game. You missed 3 or 4 wide open opportunities to take the lead and absolutely own that game. And it's like they chose not to. It's like they wanted to make it down to the wire, and it just, like, they saw opportunity and just did not seize it, and it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, it's the typical like cliche, right? Where if you find yourself in a position where you need a last second field goal to win the game, you can probably point to a handful of plays, right, that completely change the outcome of that game outside of that field goal, right?
Yep.
And like you said, there was plenty of missed opportunities that we saw throughout that game, right? And I'll be honest, the fact that Aaron Rodgers and that passing attack, like,
Yep.
the dude can barely move in the pocket,
Yep.
right? You forced him to throw 47 times. And
To nobody, by the way, to no receivers, to nobodies.
Their leading receivers were Gainwell, their running back, Calvin Austin, Pat Freiermuth, and then you had Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who weren't even on the team 3 weeks ago. Like, come on.
Yeah,
And you can't even point to the injuries anymore because their defensive backs are healthy. And you got Kyle Hamilton back there. You have Marlon Humphreys. You had Nate Wiggins. You have
Van Noy's been back for a couple weeks.
like, come on.
Yeah, and I think there were some issues with Lamar, and I'm not knocking Lamar. He's an MVP caliber quarterback. I don't want to sit here and shit on Lamar, but there were a couple of wide open touchdown throws that I just don't know if he didn't see it, and he felt like he got out of there in a hurry. He felt like he was bailing on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think he could really see how the legs were just he wasn't 100% out there, and you can totally see that in the way that he played that game. He did still have a good game passing the ball.
Yeah.
Finished 11 of 18, 238 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did have that 1 interception, but then 3 sacks. 3 sacks where if Lamar Jackson's healthy, are they going to be sacks? Or is he trying to stay in the pocket a little bit longer because he doesn't want to run, you know?
Yeah. And we talked about that, right? We were sitting here, is Lamar at 80% better than Huntley at 100%? Yeah, right? And I said that if Lamar can't move, you have to go with Huntley. Lamar could move, but you saw the reservation. Yeah. That there's still something there in a big way.
And I think as he continues to age, we'll see more and more of it, though. But it's the fact that he still, I feel like he still needs that as part of his game. That kind of escapability, you know, extend plays. And if he does choose to run, right, still being scary enough where you still need to have a spy on him at all times, right? Like you can't just strictly drop 8 into coverage or 7 into coverage with no concerns, right? I feel like that's a big part of his game. So if that continues to be a lingering concern moving forward, I'm interested to see where he ends up stacking in like the quarterback rankings, right? Because while he has made ginormous strides as a passer from where he was coming into the NFL, I still feel like his legs are a big part of his game.
Oh,
even if it's just a threat of them, you know.
Well, and he's one of the best quarterbacks on the run throwing the ball. That's a fact. I still think Lamar is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I don't know that this year is very representative of what the Ravens organization is all about. And I think they were kind of due for one of these years, to be honest with you. They've been riding high for a while, and they were always in the mix in the Bills versus Ravens situation. So I think it had to come down a little bit of a reality check of who we are as Ravens. And now let's correct it in the offseason, go get after it. We're going to get healthy. This is a team that's going to be fine. It's just it was a weird year for them, plain and simple.
Yeah.
2 things with this game. Can I throw 2 things at you, okay?
Yep.
Have you seen this clip of Aaron Rodgers before the season started? It's kind of coming back around and going viral.
Yeah, I have. But for the viewers that haven't, why don't you expand a little bit?
Yeah, so it must have been a Steelers fan fest or something. Aaron had just gotten there. He's on stage. It's outside. It's nice. And a fan comes up and goes, "Hey, Aaron, week 18, you got the Ravens. You're down in the 4th quarter. Playoffs on the line." All hypothetical. He goes, "What song's in your head?" And Aaron goes on. But the dude back in August called it perfectly. Congress, FBI, CIA, investigate that man. He has time traveled.
I was going to say, you think we got another time traveler out there?
Yeah. And so far, everything that I looked into, nobody's been able to identify like, oh, yeah, it's Steve from my homeroom back in 8th grade. Nobody knows who this guy is, okay? I'm telling you that he was sent there to let Aaron know that moment was coming and you'd better be prepared. And what Aaron do? Go on, be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he brought back the old school Aaron Rodgers celebration after the long touchdown. You saw which did not get broadcasted for some reason, but you saw videos from the crowd that saw it. And did he look all of 43 years old with that one? That was extremely unathletic.
I don't know if you could have slid a piece of paper under him getting off the ground, to be honest with you.
Oh, Lee.
And I think the top comments were, Aaron's so back. Like, he's so bad. Like, it's over for you bitches. He's so
It would have been
back.
even better if he did the little Mario jump and then straight into the fucking belt. Straight into the belt. Then you would have been 100% back. Right now, he's only like 70% back with that one.
He's back, but he's not back.
Yeah, if he starts pulling, if you see Aaron Rodgers start busting out the championship belt,
the discount double check. If you start seeing the discount double check commercials again,
find cover. I think we might need to find cover.
Just somebody call somebody.
He's gonna be throwing 5-yard fucking like pitches upfield,
little wrist flips.
Yeah, and then just be hitting championship belts
while Gainwell is still in the field of play and the play's going. Aaron's just in the back.
From Steph Curry's turnaround 3, it's just gonna be hand the ball off, just discount double check, baby.
And there goes Gainwell on a 60-yarder. But truthfully, like, if you think of NFL quarterbacks over time, if that crazy shit were to happen, it would be Aaron. Like, nobody else could pull that off.
I can think of one person.
Who you got?
Tom Brady, if you forgot, at 44 years old, threw for over 5,000 yards with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Fair, Tom. Yeah, he's at the top.
And his passes were a little bit more impressive than what we've seen out of Aaron Rodgers this season.
They certainly had a little more zip on them, I'll tell you that much.
The TB12 diet, man. Never discounted.
So here's my secondary, and this goes back to the Ravens, okay? And it's because rumors did swirl at one point recently. What would you put the likelihood that Lamar takes a look at his situation? Because we're talking about they're going to restructure. There might be some void years. He's going to lose a little bit of money on this, potentially. What are the chances, percentage-wise, that he says, maybe that's it for me in Baltimore, and I'm going to request a trade?
I'll flip the question back to you. Which do you think is more likely? John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson not being in Baltimore next season?
Lamar. And I think I don't know that it's super close for me.
It really does feel like we are going down that path, though. I think, and I might just be completely making things up here, but it seems like Baltimore is getting a little bit nervous of those leg injuries that Lamar has suffered, along with maybe not taking things as seriously off the field this season. I've heard some rumors, I don't know the validity of them, where maybe they're looking at it. He's a 2-time MVP. He's only a year removed from his last one, right? If you are going to move on from him and get like a significant return, your timing might be limited here moving forward.
It's now or never. It's either you're moving him now, in my opinion, you're either moving him now or he is your guy until he is done. Like, there's not going to be this we can't be sitting here 2-3 years and going, oh, he's coming to the end of the contract. We think we're going to move off him. It's like, no, you're going to get second rounders back. Right now, I think Lamar's probably a 4-pick prospect or 4-pick value, with 2 of those being first rounders. 2-time MVP. He is a franchise quarterback. I don't really listen to that, the not being serious. Everything you ever hear from Lamar and see from Lamar is he's a consummate professional. He's the face of this franchise. He is the leader of this organization. So I think there are a number of teams in the NFL that would be really interested in giving Baltimore quite a few of their picks.
You know, the team that I have seen linked already?
Yep.
Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy, you are now a Baltimore Raven.
Yep. But you would be surrendering 2 first-round picks with JJ.
I know.
So if you can live with that, with Lamar, and in terms of the Vikings, and I've said this, the Vikings built a roster this season, their offseason moves in their draft, to win a championship today because they're getting a bunch of 26 to 30-year-olds who are in their prime of their playing career, and they're being hindered by quarterback play. You insert Lamar into that, I mean, what does that look like? Is that 14 wins consistently every year with the roster as it sits?
I'm more interested to see what Lamar can do when he has a number 1 like Justin Jefferson, which no disrespect to Zay Flowers, but
No.
absolutely laps any receiver that Lamar's ever thrown to. Shit, Jordan Addison might be up there for one of the best receivers
I
he'd
would
ever
put
thrown to.
Flowers and Addison on a similar level.
Like, come on.
Yeah. And then, if there isn't a move like that, it's like, okay, and you're a Vikings fan, it's like, oh, is JJ going to ask for one? So, like, you should want to try to get ahead of it if you can. But, like, that's a deal that's got to be done sooner than later if it moves. I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's going to be a lot of quarterback movement in the AFC North this offseason. And if there was to be one moved and they were to find themselves on the Minnesota Vikings, I think I'd still prefer Joe Burrow over Lamar. Obviously, I'd be happy with both, but I think Joe fits the type of offense that KOC would prefer to run. But fuck, I'm saying here, counting my blessings if we get either of them,
Yeah. And let's be honest with ourselves. It is a outside chance that either one of those guys ends up on the Vikings before next year. I'm not saying it's not a possibility down the road, but like it is a less than 1% chance in my opinion right now.
Yep. Okay. Let's hit on just the playoff matchups real quick for those that aren't aware. You can just like give quick picks of who we think are gonna win those games or whatnot. I just know we have a good amount to talk about still, so don't want to get bogged down with this part of it. But on Saturday we have the Rams taking on the Panthers. I think we're both in agreement that the Rams pull that one out.
Yep.
And then the night game is going to be the Packers going to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. I think we both agree it's going to be the Bears.
I think so too. There's too many concerns still on play calling and clock management by Matt LaFleur. And I think that's going to be exposed in the limelight against Ben Johnson. There might be changes coming in Green Bay, but go ahead.
And I just feel like the Green Bay is just dealing with way too many injuries right now.
Very true.
Chicago's the healthier team at home.
And they're hotter right now. Winning in the first round in the wild card is about how hot are you coming into it.
Yeah, agreed. And then Sunday, the 1:00 game is the Bills versus Jaguars. I won't speak for you here. I personally think Buffalo will pull this one out. I think obviously Buffalo fans will be there representing in numbers. We'll probably see a 60-40, 50-50 split fan-wise. I think the Bills pull it out. What about you?
The Bills are the Bills. Josh Allen, James Cook is James Cook. It's hard to pick against that, right? But you're on the road against a hot team. Mm-hmm. Hot team. I mean, the Jaguars are on fire.
Hey, Trevor Lawrence just got a grill. So,
I mean,
maybe
are we looking at Kirk O'Chains Jr.? Is that what we're looking at? Because Kirk O'Chains is a dangerous man.
Wait, you're telling me you haven't seen the clip?
No, I've seen that grill.
Okay. All
right. So I'm going to go Jaguars. Home field advantage being a big piece. We've said that like it's the Bills' year to do it. The Chiefs are out of it. But are you super confident in the Bills right now over the last 3 weeks? Because I'm sitting there watching it and going, why does it feel chaotic? Why doesn't it feel smooth?
I mean, in fairness, prior to that dud against Philadelphia, they had won 4 in a row, putting up at least 23 in every single game.
When I watch the Bills play, it feels like organized chaos at times. And I'm just like, why is this? You have Josh Allen and McDermott. This should be a smooth operator, baby.
Yeah.
I'll go Jags.
Okay. Jags with that one. And then back to the NFC, we got the 49ers taking on the Eagles. I think 49ers pulled this one out. I've been saying it. I'll continue saying it. I think vibes are bad in Philly. It doesn't feel like they have a run in them this year. Maybe they win this one, but I think it'd be a one and done. But I'm going to take the 49ers in this one, in the upset.
There is a lot of talk that like this is Saquon's opportunity to be Saquon and kind of re-solidify that like this wasn't a falling off season and the Madden curse isn't real and all that, right? I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I believe not necessarily in Saquon, but in the play calling and the offense right now. So I'm going to ride with you, and I'm going to go Niners. I think McCaffrey's going to have a day.
Yeah, they're going to need him too. But Brock Purdy, outside of last week, has been playing some of his best football we've seen. So
He's
we'll
shown
see.
everybody why they paid him $55 million.
Yeah, we'll see what the weather does for that game as well. See if it holds up or not. And then Sunday night, we got the Chargers Patriots. I will speak for both of us here. I'm assuming we're both leading Patriots.
Nope. Nope.
Wow.
No. And here's why. Here's why. Okay. Bear with me on this one. I think I like the Patriots. You and I've been singing Drake May's praises, Mike Vrabel. This is a solid program right now. The lack of experience from the players, I think, is going to do it. They're poised that this is the launching pad for the Patriots. I just don't know. There's something inside me that tells me the lack of experience in big games from Drake May. Not that he's going to shit the bed, but that's going to play an effect. So I think because of that, I'm going to run with the Chargers and Jay Herbo. Now, if this hand thing isn't fixed, we're going to have another conversation here. I think you're probably banking on the Chargers O-line being shit right now.
Yep, I was just going to point that out. On top of the two tackles already being out for the year, one of their backup guard and starting center are both questionable. So we're looking at second and third stringers across the entire offensive line. I don't love that.
It's Jim Harbaugh, and somehow, some way, it doesn't matter how you feel about Jim, if you love him or hate him, somehow, some way, that dude gets the most out of his players and finds ways to get them to that level. So, and I think Herbert's back. That's going to spark some life. Herbert is, I think, an elite level quarterback. I think that's going to be the difference.
Okay. And then to round it out, Houston takes on the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night. Houston, no questions asked.
Yeah, and I'll go as far as say a blowout if it's not snowing. If it's snow, we just don't know what the score is going to be. But I think if it's a clear night, I think Houston wins by 2 scores.
Fuck, if it snows, it plays even better for Houston at that point with that defense.
Oh, I'm not saying the win. I'm just saying score-wise. If it's clear night, I think they get out ahead early and stay ahead early.
Yeah. Cool. So then we'll move over. Obviously, we will, depending who you ask, we are either celebrating or I don't know what the antonym for celebrating is.
Mourning.
Mourning. Yeah, thank you. Mourning. Black Monday in the NFL. But we've had some coaches that have gotten the call. They've gotten the boot. We have Kevin Stefanski from Cleveland, Pete Carroll in Las Vegas, Jonathan Gannon in Arizona, and Raheem Morris in Atlanta, joining both Brian Dable of the New York Giants and Brian Tannehill of your Tennessee Titans. Herb, out of those 4, are you shocked by any of them?
I think firing Stefanski was the wrong move. That felt like a next year deal if they're not doing as well. But that one didn't shock me because I knew it was a possibility. The Gannon in Arizona shocked the ever-loving hell out of me because we've sat here and talked about he's 3 years in. It's been a mess with Kyler in that contract. It's been a mess with the injuries at running back this year. It makes no sense. So they really must have in mind who they want. Because if they're going in and going, we don't know who our head coach is going to be, we're going to interview everybody, that's a massive organizational failure. Gannon, I got the notification at work today, shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The one that shocked me was Raheem Morris. I thought he had done enough over the last 4 weeks with that 4-game winning streak with Kirk Cousins to keep his job. And I think I was even more shocked that with him getting fired that they decided to keep their GM
Yeah.
rather than clearing house entirely seemed odd to me.
Well, and then they've demoted the CEO to a VP position above the GM's head, which is kind of a weird way to do it if you're not firing your GM.
Yeah, so that one was the one that surprised me. I can't say I'm shocked by any of the other three, but I think this place.
What was more shocking for you, Raheem Morris being fired or Zach Taylor keeping his job?
I would say Raheem Morris getting
Yeah.
fired. There was always rumblings that I'm starting to think Zach Taylor has some blackmail on ownership over there because he can do no wrong. There's not many coaches that can go from making the Super Bowl to then I think they made the playoffs the year after that, but then 3 straight years of missing the playoffs and still keep their job.
And that's an ownership group recognizing the injury with Burrow, and they just must have the faith of Burrow and Taylor.
We'll see.
Can't say
but
do.
I will say with the news that did come out, this could be very good for the Tennessee Titans because if Kevin Stefanski, if you guys hire Kevin Stefanski, I know there's been issues. He's an offensive guy. There's been issues with the Cleveland offense the last couple of years. I don't put the fault on him. I think it's been a lot of injuries across the offensive line, terrible quarterback play, not having skilled position players. I think if Tennessee can get him into the building, if I was you, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah. So Dream World, I ran through this today on my lunch break. Dream situation. Jim Schwartz does not get a head coaching job. Stefanski is hired as the head coach of the Titans and bring Jim Schwartz to run the defense. He had a top 5 defense this year in Cleveland. We've got better players on defense than Cleveland does. That's a fact. So what he could do, Jeffrey Simmons alone beats the brakes off of everybody on Cleveland's defense.
Are you forgetting?
Oh, Myles Garrett. My bad.
Jesus Christ.
My bad. I did forget about Myles for a moment.
God damn.
Hey, shout out Myles.
Also Carson Schwarzenegger.
He is not as impactful as Jeffrey Simmons yet.
But I'm saying out of your linebackers, he'd be the best linebackers from both teams.
I think we got a couple linebackers that you'd be surprised about out there.
Okay.
But so hire Stefanski. He brings Jim Schwartz with him.
And I will say, before we continue, that was one big thing that Jimmy Haslam said in the press conference is going to be a priority for Cleveland. They want Jim Schwartz to stay around. So
I don't think he's going to stick around in Cleveland if he's not the head coach.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying they might throw a bag at him and make him say no type of thing.
But here's the issue, though. Then you have to hire a coach who's willing to accept Jim Schwartz as his DC, not having been the head coach's hire, which is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure whoever the head coach there would be completely happy keeping the guy who's operated a top 5 defense for the last how many years.
should right?
Especially if it's an offensive-minded guy, right? If it was a defensive-minded guy, I can see where there could be like a clash there. But
sure.
I would assume they're going to go offensive if they are trying to keep Schwartz. But, yeah, continue. Sorry.
I want Joe Brady as our OC. Bad. I think he's done a great job balancing out the Bills' offense, and I really, really like that. And he loves working with the younger quarterbacks. I mean, what he's done in development of Burrow, the continuing development of Allen. He was in Carolina for a while too. I know that didn't work out great, but Stefanski, Joe Brady, and Jim Schwartz would right the ship for the Titans. Now let's go get our players to match our systems, and let's go out there and coach the hell out of these guys.
Yeah, I can get behind you for the first parts. I don't think Joe Brady would take that move. I think the only way he leaves Buffalo is for a head coaching gig because, to be honest, why would you leave Buffalo as the offensive coordinator to go to a far worse situation where you might not have the same anatomy, right? Where if Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be the offensive voice, right? In Buffalo, Joe Brady's kind of the offensive voice. Sean McDermott's defensive minded, right? So I think he has a lot more say in the offense that they're running.
Actually calling it as opposed to Stefanski. He'll probably want to call it with a rookie. Okay, so if it's not Joe Brady, do me a favor and go get whoever the OC was last year at Miami because he got the most out of Cam Ward that anybody ever has. So just get that guy. And hey, Cam, we brought your old coach back. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, buddy.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of college football, we'll flip over there. We won't go super in depth on the game since those are about a week old almost already. But the one thing I did want to talk about though is out of the quarterfinals, right? We had the 4 teams that received a first round bye. One of those teams won, and that was the Indiana Hoosiers. But now we're looking at this new playoff format since we've expanded to 12 teams. We have a 2-year sample size now, right? And those teams that have received a first round bye are now officially 1-7 in those games. So my question to you is, I guess it's a 2-pronged question, is do you believe that this is truly a rust versus what is it, a rust versus rest or scenario where these teams that have gotten the bye, who are going almost a full calendar month between games, and that's if you played in your conference championship game, right? Going a month without playing. And do you think that's truly one of the big factors as to why they have done so poorly in these games? And 2, do you have any sort of idea of what could be changed? Because it feels like if this continues to be a trend, teams are going to be less aren't going to want that top 4.
They're going to want to play in the first round. I don't want to buy. I want to play week 1 of the playoffs.
Right.
I think it's a massive impact. And not in terms of skill set or ability to scheme for the team. You look at Ohio State, who hadn't played in a month, right? They were slow as shit in the first half. They couldn't find Jeremiah Love in the first half. Julian Sand looked a mess in the first half. He looked uncomfortable. He looked anxious.
Jeremiah Smith. Sorry, just had to correct you there.
What did I say? Jeremiah Love? Listen, I got dynamic offensive players on the mind, okay? But Jeremiah Smith, that slow start, which Ohio State isn't really a slow start team. I think at one point they had scored in the first quarter of every game for the first 6 weeks or something like that. So not a slow start team, but then they go out in the playoff after having a month off. It's hard to get into game speed. It takes a couple of hits to go, oh, we're playing football. Oh, shit. I haven't done this in a while, That has an impact. In terms of a fix, I'm going to lean on Nick Saban's model a little bit, where we cut down some of these non-conference games. So be it. It sucks. I like the non-conference games, but maybe you only have 1 or 2, right? And really for those big programs, you're going to have your Chick-fil-A opening weekend type game where it's a neutral site. Still love that. I know you've kind of said those are going to go away because they don't really help anybody. I like that. You cut that down to 1 or 2 games, all of a sudden we can move the playoff up a little bit, where instead of having 3.5 weeks, you've only got 10 days off, which, listen, 10 days, that's a hell of a lot easier. We can get a lot of good game prep. We can get the reps in. Guys can get healthy in 10 days, right? I think that's the fix, is either we got to cut down on non-conference or we start limiting conference games if you want to keep the non-conference.
Okay. Which makes sense. The proposal, I think, makes the most sense, and we've talked about this in the past, is for the Big Ten and the SEC, conference championship week is going to be, instead of just being the top 2 teams playing for the conference championship, it's going to be essentially a de facto playing game where you have the top 4 seed or top 4 teams that finished in that conference playing 2 playing games, right? Where you win those games, you're automatically guaranteed into the playoff at there. Those 2 teams that lose still have a chance to get an at-large bid, depending on how it shakes out, right? But then I don't think there's any I know the reason why is because the Army Navy game is that following week, and there's no like the college
You
football
can't move
playoff
that
and
one. You
ESPN.
can't move it.
Yeah, and that contract runs through like 2036 or something like that, which is why they can't. Like the easiest thing would just be, hey, let's just move everything up a week, But they
Yeah.
can't do that because of that Army Navy game.
Unless Army and Navy, I think, and especially Army Navy fans, which your boy is one of them, we might accept the idea of week 1 Army Navy or week 0 even an Army Navy duel when it's actually nice out and they're playing in DC and you can be outside and we're not playing in rain and snow. I think maybe that might work, but that game is so traditional that it's pretty hard set in its ways.
Yeah, and you're talking to the wrong guy when it comes to like how much that impacts the tradition. Like if it's kind of like the game, right? It's always the week of Thanksgiving, right?
Or Bama,
Um,
Tennessee, second weekend of October.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if there's the same type of thing with that Army Navy game, but that's the reason why we probably won't see any big like changes to the format or the scheduling. But it almost feels like if they are going to expand, right? It almost feels like you need to expand to a number where there's no teams receiving a bye. Because at this point, I wouldn't want a first round bye.
24 gets you there. That's a lot of football.
That's a lot of football, but it works in the FCS.
Yeah. And again, I'll maintain, like, that's the model. That is the model we have to get to, plain and simple. It works. It works for every other division of football except for Division One FBS for whatever reason. And they can never, ever give us an actual answer as to why it won't work. Well, it just simply can't.
And everybody will point to there being blowouts. Brother, have you seen the games that we've seen in the playoffs already this year?
Yeah. But
what's the difference if we add a couple more?
But the cool thing is that the top seeds in the FCS, they lost week 2. I mean, tonight's the FCS championship. Illinois State shouldn't be there. That's a Cinderella we're looking for.
Hey, you stop. That's my shout out. You're getting ahead of yourself.
My apologies. I got money on the game. Bro, I took Illinois State money line. I put some money on it. We're gonna hit this thing, baby.
Oh, I like it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it does seem like the expansion is going to have to somehow cover this bye because it seems kind of like the Madden curse where it's just bad juju, and I would not want to touch it, type of thing.
Now let me ask you this real quick, because let me ask the bye week guys that are, you said 1-7 so far.
Yep.
Does that mean it's working? I don't know that I necessarily agree with it, but does that mean that this playoff system works where anybody could win?
No.
Just no explanation. No. All right.
I'm trying to think about what
of why I know
I'm
sitting here trying to do the same thing, trying to figure out why does it mean it's not working?
Because
maybe it's working.
Maybe it's working, and these top teams that just aren't that good, aren't as good as we think they have, even though we have 14 games up to that point. To say
maybe Ohio State wasn't them, huh?
It's saying the complete opposite.
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, are we onto something here?
I don't know. Because it feels like a disadvantage. Like you said, these teams are going a full month without playing. Granted, some of these other teams, I'm trying to think. So, in the first round, Oklahoma would have been the one that had the longest rust argument. They lost because they didn't play in the SEC championship. But then you had JMU. They played in their conference championship. You had Tulane. They played in their conference championship. Old Miss didn't. they won theirs. That might have just been a byproduct of a talent discrepancy, more so than a rust argument. Who else am I missing? Miami, they didn't play in theirs,
Miami.
but neither did Texas A&M. So
Tulane.
I already
Don't forget Tulane was in the playoff. Let's not forget Tulane was in the playoff. I think people have forgotten already.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness,
rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
Maybe it's working, dude. Maybe it's working. Maybe we've been wrong this whole time.
I will not go that far. Go that far in saying that. But let's look ahead to Thursdays. Wait, is that Thursday, Friday? I think are the two games.
That sounds right.
The semifinals. We got Oregon, number 5 Oregon, taking on number 1 Indiana in a rematch from earlier in the season where Indiana beat Oregon in Eugene. I think the final score of that game was 30-20, but it really wasn't as close as the score would have led you to believe in that one. Mendoza did have a pick 6 in that game, but Indiana truly controlled that game for a majority of it. But I will play devil's advocate, as I tend to do here on this podcast. Oregon's playing some damn good football as of late. That defense, they made Texas Tech look like a JV team last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think Oregon can pull this upset? Because you and I have both been absolutely circle jerking the Indiana Hoosiers this season. And I think we both are in agreement. We would love to see them in the Hoos win the Natty.
Let me just write that down. January 5th, circle jerking. Go ahead and cross that off your bingo card there, folks. Didn't think we were going to get that far. I want to root for Oregon. And it has nothing to do with who Indiana is. I don't hate Indiana. I really like Dante Moore. I like Dan Lanning. I like what
just say it. Just start glazing Dan Lanning real quick.
I can't.
It seems like this has been your thing for the last couple of weeks. So just give it to him. Just start glazing him.
He's that good, dude. He's that good of a coach. But here's the fucking problem, is that Cignetti's on the other side.
Dude, he is such a stone cold killer.
Oh, my God.
Every time they pan to him, he's just like Bill Belichick. Every time they pan to him on the sideline, he is just a death glare. It's hilarious.
We're up 42. Why aren't we up 49?
Yeah.
Kurt, calm down. Okay? Here's what I'm saying is that Kurt Cignetti has instilled a belief in the Hoosiers. And the belief is that we are going to run the shit out of the ball, and we're going to force them to stop the run. And then when they do, we got this kid Mendoza you guys may have heard of. He's going to throw it up over the top. They've got a formula that works. Cignetti is one of those coaches that just, you look at him and you watch him coaching and you go, how does this guy lose? He doesn't. So that's why my hesitation with taking Oregon. I think Oregon can. I just don't know that they're going to be able to stop the 3-headed monster at running back that they have.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. Like every point you're saying,
I want to take them so bad.
I can't disagree with, but it just seems like it's a team of destiny type thing we are seeing in Indiana, where it just seems like they are going to go undefeated, be the first team ever to go 17-0, win the Natty, and it just feels like it's a storybook ending, you know?
And dude, you know what? We've shit on Mendoza. We have to admit that, and that's okay. Not for the play on the field, not for the play on the field, which a lot of people have shit on him for.
It's how freaking quirky the dude is off the field. He's a dork.
Oh, we're calling him quirky now, huh? That's a nice PC term, quirky. All right, locked in on quirky. Mendoza may be something of legend in college football. He may be up there with the Tim Tebows and the Johnny Manziels in terms of college legend. Kid that went to Berkeley. Nobody gave a fuck about Berkeley football. Then he goes to Bloomington, Indiana, You ever been to Bloomington, Indiana, Isaiah?
No, I have
You know
not.
what's in Bloomington, Indiana? Not a goddamn thing other than the Hoosiers. Not a goddamn thing.
You know,
They're going to erect a statue. Mendoza's going to. He's going. He can't keep doing this. He can't keep doing this, dude. But he's going to. He's going to.
I feel like he most definitely can keep on doing this.
National championship, Heisman, build the fucking statue in front of the stadium.
And then he gets to go as a reward to all of that. Hey, have fun in Las Vegas, buddy.
Yeah, with no head coach.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's your reward.
Yeah. Mendoza and the Hoosiers, I think I have to pick them. I would love it if Oregon won, though. I'm a huge Dan Lanning fan. I will continue to be. It's just the problem is it's Killer Kurt on the other side.
Yeah. Well, then on the other side, in a matchup that we all saw coming, number 10 Miami taking on number 6 Ole Miss. And Herb, I told you, don't doubt Trinidad Chambliss and the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yep.
We've gotten this far. We can't leave them now.
I have a lot of crow to eat on this one because I picked both of them getting bounced pretty early, especially Miami.
Miami. We did a live stream last week, and I made you do your apology. I don't think a lot of people tuned in, so we're going to need another apology right now.
This is one of the most violent, fast defenses college football has seen in a very, maybe since the 01-02 Miami Hurricanes, to be honest with you. The veracity, the energy, and passion that defense plays with can win you a championship. It absolutely can. I owe them an apology, and I do apologize. I'm not going to apologize to Carson Beck because I can't stand Carson Beck for whatever reason, so I'm not going to apologize to him. I'm just not. But I will apologize to Miami Hurricanes. That defense is too legit to quit. So my apologies there. Ole Miss, I was concerned about the coaching issue. But Goldring has figured it out. He's still calling the defense. Charlie Weiss is still calling the offense. And they're humming. Talk about an incredible, incredible playoff game between Ole Miss and Georgia. You got two just ballers at quarterback in Stockton and Chambliss. Just going at it against two phenomenal defenses. I had a lot of fun watching that game. I'm riding high on Ole Miss. I'm taking Ole Miss on this one for sure. Trinidad goes from D2 backup, D2 national championship, SEC backup, and takes them to the ship.
Yeah, wouldn't that be the storyline? I can see the Disney movie in a couple years already.
I'm already writing the screenplay. We're already submitting. We're getting ahead of this thing, okay?
Yeah, it just seems like a foregone conclusion at this point, doesn't it? But dude, I was starting to have these moments because I think people don't realize. I think they're starting to realize it now. But Trinidad Chambliss is a fifth-year senior.
Yep.
He technically has no eligibility left, right? They're saying the report coming out today is that if he does get granted a waiver, because I believe there was something. No, I think they're still waiting on the final decision from the NCAA on that one. But if he was to get that waiver, he's going to come back to Ole Miss next season. But is that the right decision?
I am so glad you brought this up.
I'm
glad you brought this up.
I've been
talking all day about it.
Because I think I even kind of forgot this. But this dude, if he was to come out to the NFL draft this season, is he not one of the top 3 best quarterbacks? And
he would be QB. I'm staying with QB2. He is QB2, and I think there's a possibility that the Las Vegas Raiders could take Trinidad Chambliss at the number 1 overall pick. As fucking insane as that sounds right now, I think it could happen.
See, because that was going to be the question I posed to you, right? It's like, this dude, up until this season, his highest level of competition was fucking D2 Ferris State. I don't even know in what goddamn conference that is. And, like, we haven't seen an ascent like this in how long, right?
Forever.
Like Steve McNair played for Alcorn State, but
Which
I
is still
think that was still
FCS.
yeah, that's still FCS. Like I don't know if the last time a quarterback, like I know there's been other positional players that have done
Yeah,
it, but
absolutely.
a quarterback, like we are talking like the amount of cojones that an organization and a GM would have to spend draft capital of that like stature or like a first round pick on a dude that has 1 year of Division 1 Power 4 experience seems fucking absurd.
It's insane. I just did a quick little research for us. Tyson Bagent is the most recent D2 quarterback to make it in the NFL.
Yeah, and he was an undrafted free agent.
And I legitimately think that there's a world where Trinidad Chambliss is the number one overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Let me
Because my
throw this
question
at you. Go ahead.
because my question to you was going to be, if he was to declare, where would he go? Because I could see him, like you're saying, I could easily see him being a first round pick. I don't know about number one, but I could for sure see him a first round pick. But I could also see him dropping to like the third round because
Yep.
it's a fucking dart throw, it feels like.
Let me throw this at you. Okay, let's say the Raiders have been locked in on Mendoza, right? They're going Mendoza at 1, and for whatever reason, Ty Simpson goes at 2 to the Jets. The Cardinals sit at 3. Would you take Trinidad there? Ride Jacoby, have him and Jacoby compete. Maybe Jacoby wins it. Jacoby's done on his contract after next year, and then it's a seamless transition to Trinidad. Is that insane to think?
I think if I could see a team jumping up
Miami?
to trade him, I don't know if Miami, but the team I'm thinking of, Pittsburgh.
Ooh. Ooh. See, I think the Rams are hoping he falls and they can just sneak him late in the first, early in the second, and be like, "Hey, look, we got our guy for the next 10 years." Here's what else I want to throw at you, and we're going to focus on Trinidad's mindset.
Herb, 1 sec. Before this season, in his 2 years starting, he really only started 1 year at Ferris State. Let's be completely honest here. He completed less than 62% of his throws at D2 Ferris State. And now is somehow completing 66% of his passes playing in the SEC.
Cutting them up.
Brother, I don't know. I don't have the cojones to do it. I would love to do it. I don't know if I could do it.
I think there's going to be a GM with some balls on him that might take a run, and maybe that's what Vegas needs. You're Vegas, take the dice roll. But let's focus on Trinidad, okay? Because he's pushing hard for the 6th year of eligibility. Hard. Ole Miss is pushing hard, obviously. Why in the hell, if I'm Trinidad Chambliss, would I want to go compete with Arch Manning, with Brennan Sorsby, with keep going to Lenore Sellers, right? Why would I want to compete? Right now, I think he is QB2 in the 2026 prospect. If he waits, he might fall to QB6 or 7. You just don't know. Yeah. And you can't tell me that he's going to make more NIL next year than his signing bonus as a top 5 pick. He won't. So in my opinion, I'm in the camp of Trinidad. Go to the league. Now is your time. Because the story arc here is you go back, there's a better than not chance you turn into Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, and what we saw this year.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. And that's also assuming that he goes and has another season to the same caliber that he had this year, which is going to be hard enough in itself, right? And you have to imagine that's with all of these offensive coaches that he's had now moving to LSU and a whole new staff coming in. Like, if there's ever been a time of capitalizing on your value at your peak, it is now for Trinidad Chambliss. I agree. He's probably QB2 because I don't think Dante Moore is coming out. I think he's going back to Oregon.
No.
So he's easily QB2 if that's the case.
Wholeheartedly agree.
So
he's better than Ty Simpson.
I don't know.
That's a fact.
Without question. So I don't know who's in his ear, who he's taking advice from, but hopefully they are not leading him astray because he could lose out on quite a bit of money if he decides to go back.
Yep. Speaking of Dante Moore, did you see the reports today?
No.
Okay, so allegedly, somebody from Dante Moore's camp is calling the Raiders to gauge how they feel about Dante, and that may have an effect on whether he leaves or comes back because Dante doesn't want to be a Jet. So if the Raiders are sitting there saying, nah, we're in love with Mendoza, your guy's not really our guy, he goes back because he doesn't want to play for the Jets because the Jets will take him at 2 if he declares. But if the Raiders sit there and go, well, we thought he was going back, but he's coming out. Well, we actually like him a lot more. Our grade is higher on him than it is Mendoza. Now that gets real interesting, and that kind of sets sort of a dangerous precedent in this whole thing, in my opinion.
I was going to say, that sounds quite illegal to do. It's like
apparently it is well within the rules.
It's like a back room, cigar-filled or smoke-filled room in a shady handshake deal type of thing.
Kind of. And, I mean, what a gamble you're taking if you're Dante. And at the last second, as the clock's ticking, the Raiders take Mendoza. And then now you're drafted by the Jets. Now we're dealing with, I'm not playing for the Jets. Now we're talking about an Eli Manning situation.
Mm-hmm.
Which nobody wants.
Yeah. If you had to guess, like, percentage-wise of Dante Moore returning to Oregon, what would you put it at?
90% to stay.
Okay.
90% to stay. I think he's almost a lock. Yeah. I think. Well, I do think he is one of the best quarterbacks and very well is deserving of going top 3 in next year's draft. I think the smarter choice is for him to continue to develop. Because let's remember, he barely played at UCLA, played a couple games. Then he goes to Oregon and
he played a majority of that season. And then
I thought he only played like 5 games that year.
I think he played over half of.
Okay.
He was the starter for.
Then he goes to Oregon and sits behind Gabriel last year, like legitimately as Oregon's starting quarterback.
Oh yeah, actually, now that you bring that up, do you think? Because I've been seeing people trying to spin him sitting behind Gabriel actually means that he's like it's like a mark against him. Like, you couldn't beat out Dylan Gabriel, who we've now seen in the NFL and struggled mightily, and they're like holding that against Dante Moore.
No, because you have to look at the situation that Oregon was in. So they brought Moore in, knowing he's a young guy, and we want to get our claws in and really turn him into what we need. But we've got Dylan Gabriel, who's been playing college football for 13 years now, a proven winner. They paid Dylan Gabriel far too much to let Dante go in. And again, Dante was young last year. He was not ready to take the head job at Oregon. Dylan Gabriel was. I don't even factor that in. The situation at Oregon was clear cut. Gabriel went in. Everybody knew he was the starter. I bet Dante Moore looked just as good, if not slightly better than him, and they had to ride Gabriel because of the situation.
Okay, I was just making sure. It was something that I had seen floating on socials, so I'm in the same boat as you. I agree with you, but people,
yeah, and I get where that comes from, but I find it a moot point.
In other quarterback news, did you? So I'm sure you saw the news that Brandon Sorsby is officially going to Texas Tech, correct?
Yep.
Did you see how much they gave him to go for one season?
I didn't see the total. I heard it was a bag though.
$5 million for one season. And reminder, Texas Tech spent $20 to $25 million on their roster this year. So a fourth to a fifth of that to one player.
It's not quite as much as Carson Beck, but a kid coming, Carson Beck played for national championships, led national championship programs. So I hated the deal that they gave him in Miami, but nonetheless, they gave him the deal because of that. Brendan Sorsby played at Cincinnati. Well, he's a good quarterback. He's a number one quarterback in the portal, and he's talented. $5 million for a guy who's never won in the big conferences. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bag, dude.
Every time I feel like I'm starting to grasp the amount of money and the oil money that Texas Tech is playing with right now, then I see something like this, and I'm like, holy fuck. Did they just offer him $5 million and the opportunity to open up a fucking well in Venezuela in the coming years or something? Like,
Jesus.
It seems like, hey, come on. If there was a school that could do it, it's Texas Tech and these oil magnates.
I guess.
They're offering drilling rights to these kids in a foreign nation.
Listen, we don't have the land yet, but we're going to have the land, all right?
It's a foregone conclusion.
Here's the big thing with him going to Tech. I think that signals that was the first domino to fall. Him and Hoover going to Indiana, I think, were the first two pieces to fall. Now everything's starting to fall in place. Sam Leavitt, he's not even going to take a visit to Tech. He's going to go to Kentucky, right?
No, he's going to LSU. All of a sudden,
Virginia Tech's you might want to check your sources there because he is basically committed to Kentucky already. But that brings up the point. If he goes to Kentucky, Sorsby's out of it. Where does LSU go for their quarterback? Pribula? Lagway?
Top transfer quarterback Sam Leavitt visiting LSU.
There's been a lot of Kentucky talk with that Oregon OC coming over.
We'll see. I did see Virginia Tech just got the freshman from Penn State that Franklin had brought in. That
Grunkmeyer.
Grunkmeyer. Bo Pribula's still out there. Leavitt, DJ Lagway probably becomes much more of an option than he probably was before. And then you get into like that Bryce,
Byron Brown out of USF.
Byron Brown, yeah. You have him as well. Dylan Raiola is still out there, maybe. I don't know. Aiden Childs is still out there, but I would have assumed that LSU at the start of this offseason was aiming a lot higher than Aiden Childs as their starting.
They can't go with Aiden. I would almost rather them go with Byron Brown than Aiden Childs for the style of offense they want to run.
Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, if they miss out on Leavitt, it's going to feel like a scramble. And then they'll probably end up offering a bag to whoever's left and double whatever their offer was to a different school because they're just desperate.
And do you know what this signals for you and I and for the rest of college football? The beginning of the downfall of Lane Kiffin. Listen, I told you I can't support him when he made this move. I'm going to stick back that. I'm an LSU Lane Kiffin hater now. Okay? I wish nothing but the worst for him. So I hope they end up with DJ Lagway throwing 14 picks down there in the bayou.
Who are you kidding? We all know how this story ends. Lane Kiffin's going to flame out at LSU, and he is going to fall upwards to the job at Alabama. We all know this is how it's going to happen.
No, it's the downfall of Kiffin. Get on board.
It will be the downfall.
If he doesn't go to Bama, if he goes to Bama, that's not flaming out. That's a promotion.
Herb, that's all he does. He fails upwards everywhere.
Listen, there's part of me that thinks in 4 years we're going to see Lane Kiffin back at FAU. If we're being honest, he's going to go right back and he's going to just be real quiet for a long time.
Oh no, he can make it to. He could get that buyout from LSU, and he could just say, "Fuck it, I'm good."
I'm going to go be a
I'm set.
college football analyst and I'm going to go hang out with Barstool guys.
You mean college chicks and do a
Uh,
bunch of coke?
I wasn't going to put his business out there because I wasn't in the room, but
Sorry, this is allegedly. Sorry,
allegedly.
alleged.
Because all the text messages and screenshots aren't evidence enough.
Yeah, alleged.
Alleged.
Can't sue us now. Okay. One thing in the NBA, real quick. I don't know if you had saw the news,
Yeah.
but Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks are going to be working on a trade. Whether or not it comes to fruition, I don't know. It seems like there is a contender, emerging contender in this sweepstakes, and that is the Washington Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my question to you, the other potential destinations, these are just teams that need point guard depth. I don't know if they're actually trying to make a move for a Trae Young type. Nuggets, Wolves, Rockets, Magic, to name a few. My question to you, with Trae Young, who's set to make, I believe it's $55-ish million next year, and then he's eligible for an extension, right? So you really have a year and a half of Trae Young before you have to decide to dole out max money to him or not. What would you trade for him? And if you're a contender, do you think this is a player you bring in that truly elevates you to the next level?
I think about a team like Houston. I think Houston works for this trade because they have enough pieces to give back and still stay relevant without basically cutting themselves off at the knees, right? But how much better does Trae Young make Houston? I just don't know if it puts. He's a great player. He would be an asset to that team. I just don't know if that puts them enough of a step up yet in how they're running. The T Wolves are very interesting, and I'd love to hear your take on it of what the T Wolves specifically would be willing to give up. But I mean, you're going to give up some prospects. You're probably going to give up a first round pick. You know, and again, first round picks in the NBA are traded like fucking Skittles on a playground type thing. You know, it's just they're nonsensical unless they're unprotected lottery picks. So I think I don't know that Atlanta will get the haul that they probably could have a year ago. Um, but he's playing well. A contender's going to go get him.
Yeah. Houston could make sense because currently, right now, they are third in the league in defense, right? So even if they do sacrifice, I don't even know, like, they have so many options of who they could trade. I don't know what would be enough for Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, would they be happy with a Reed Shepard and some picks? Or are they going to be looking for, like, a Jabari Smith, an Amin Thompson? Because if it's that, I'm probably saying no. Because again, I don't think for all he does from an offensive perspective, he is a traffic cone on defense. He is absolutely useless on defense. And then the fact that you have to then extend him for a number that with the current like apron structure that the NBA has right now, I'm not comfortable giving that to him.
No, not especially when you
So
have Sagoon and KD on your payroll.
exactly. Um, I think the Rockets are starting to figure it out a little bit. I think they will make a move for a point guard. I don't think it's going to be Trae Young. The Wolves, I hope to God, don't trade for Trae Young
If
that
they did, okay, I know you don't like the idea, but play the theoretical here with me. What would you be comfortable giving up if the Wolves were like, this is the move we're making? What would make you say, okay, it's not so bad?
see, I don't even know how they would make it work with the monies, like matching the contracts and whatnot, because I feel like Julius Randle would have to be in that deal to make the contracts work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like, for as much as Julius Randle looks like he does not care about basketball on the court, when he's on, like we saw in the playoffs last year, he is a great number two for Ant.
And
I don't,
veteran leadership. I know Rudy's there, but if you guys move Randall, Ant, I don't know that I trust him as a leader of a team. He's a great player. He's a great star. But like losing Randall loses quite a bit of veteran leadership on and off the court.
yeah, no, I agree. So I feel like he would have to be included, and if he's included, then I'm probably not interested.
That's fair. I get that. Here's what I will say about the entire Trae Young trade. Good job by the Atlanta Hawks getting out and early on this before the Ja Morant rumor mill starts turning. Because I tell you what, somebody's going to jump on Trae Young, and then a couple days later, all of a sudden Ja Morant is on the block too, and they're going, "Oh shit, we probably would have preferred Ja maybe for our system, but we got Trae, and we got to be happy with that." So good for Atlanta getting out ahead and kind of shrinking the trade partners for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what the trade deadline looks like in the NBA. Usually, the NBA is the one where the most amount of moves happen at the trade deadline. But dude, I really feel like these aprons are going to throw a just wrench into everything. One last thing here, NBA, before we move into shoutouts. Of the 3 point guards that we believe could be available, and that's Trae Young, John Morant, and LaMelo Ball, rank them in the order that you would want them if you were a contender trying to win a championship.
That is tough. That's real tough. I I put LaMelo at 1. And that's no disrespect to Trae Young. It's the age thing, but it's also Young's a hell of a scorer. LaMelo scores at a different level. Like he's hucking shots up and they go. John Morant is a clear 3 for me, and that has everything to do with his attitude about being a professional athlete and his issues that constantly come up off the court. I'm not willing to invest any kind of money into John Morant, especially when let's be honest, the play on the court, you're not playing well enough to constitute all this other bullshit, plain and simple. So if I were a contender and I'm like, hey, I need somebody to help me take a step, LaMelo is one for me because he's going to contribute today. And he's going to contribute 6-7 years from now. And then I'm going Trae Young and then John Morant. And again, it's close. I mean, it's more of a 1A, 1B, 2.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement there. And I also think you get LaMelo in the right system. He can play defense. The dude's 6'7", and he is rangy, and he can jump passing lanes with the best of them. It's just being in an environment where he actually wants to play defense.
Well, and can you imagine him on a team with veterans where he doesn't have to carry the weight of the franchise on his shoulders, but get him around good vets who can teach him things? Because right now, like you look at that roster for the Hornets, like who is mentoring Melo? Right? You get him if you get Melo in with Rudy Gobert and maybe your boy. Could that be special?
Maybe. It would be interesting, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll move into shout-outs here. Herb, I think we can just share this shout-out since it's both top of mind.
I got one. I've got one, but go ahead.
Mine is Indiana State, or Illinois State. Sorry, not Indiana State. Illinois State. Like you said, they are playing in the FCS National Championship tonight against Montana State. Game actually started while we were recording. Herb, I don't know if you have a score update for us.
It ain't in our favor.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll hold off on that one. But they shouldn't have even been here to begin with. First team to win 4 straight playoff games on the road to reach the FCS championship game. They were one of the last 4 teams to even receive a bid to the playoffs. So when we talk of like true Cinderella stories or Cinderella runs, this is like the epitome of that. What win or lose of tonight's game, they can hold their hat that they even got here.
Absolutely. Also, I would encourage you to take a look at UW River Falls, and that they've had that same head coach. They were a terrible program. He cut his teeth. He moved them all the way up, and they're playing for a national championship. They may have won the national championship. I'm not sure if D3 happened yet.
Was that your shout out?
It wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't. Okay. I have a much more personal shout out.
Okay.
It's more of a test. All right, and I'm willing to share this with the viewers. You're aware of my personal life here, but those who haven't heard, I am currently talking / early dating stages with an incredible young lady. This is a test. I'm shouting her out. I'm going to leave her name out of it. She said she was going to listen to this episode. We're going to find out if she actually listens to the whole thing. So if you're listening,
did you guys have like a code word or something you could have said?
Oh, no. She's going to know this is for her. There's not another one. Like, it's not like I'm courting multiple women here.
No, it was like one of those things. Like, you would know, like, she would tell you the code word, and that would be the sign to you that she actually listened, like, all the way through.
No.
Because she could just skip to the end and be like, oh, yep.
She has no idea this is happening. Okay. She said she's going to watch the next episode, and I'm going to see if she's like, thanks for the shout out.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Herb, I told you, podcast. It was going to be our love game scenario, like situation.
Do you know how hard it is on a second date? They're like, "What do you do with your free time?" I hang out and I film videos of me and my friend talking about sports, and then I edit the videos. You know how tough that is on a second date, and for her to say, "I'd love to go on a third." Yes.
It's not a red flag. You could be out there doing heroin or something. That's bad.
That's a tough one to break. Having a podcast is also a tough one to break.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Would you rather explain to somebody you're getting into the talking stage with that your hobby is a sports podcast, or somebody that takes pickleball way too seriously?
Oof, like competitive level pickleball. I thought you were going to
go OnlyFans. I thought you were
going OnlyFans for sure.
We're waking up 8 a.m. sharp Saturdays. We are running, we are going to the pickleball courts to play doubles. I'm in 2 leagues during the week that I'm going to. Like, this takes precedent. Yeah, I feel like that's a harder one to break.
I've said it once before. I'll say it again. Pickleball is painfully Caucasian. So I'm going to go ahead and go with podcast would be easier than telling her I'm a pickleballer.
Or a CrossFitter?
No, because then at least I would have abs.
Not always. I've seen CrossFitters with some bad shape.
Well, I'll tell you what, these knees are not meant for any more box jumps in my life, so I'm not doing CrossFit anytime soon.
Okay, well, folks, on the next episode of Don't Quote Us Sports, episode 38, we will find out whether or not this pretty lady, has listened all the way through.
She is pretty.
So, fingers crossed in you and your journey. I'm here supporting you every step of the way. But, folks, that is episode 37 in the books. Thank you once again for listening if you've made it this far. As always, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow, tell someone you know to give us a listen. Herb's already done it on his side. Let's see Herb's mom. Come on, let's bring this up at work. Let's start getting some coworkers in on this, you know?
Listen, she's providing decor, okay? We can't ask too much of her.
I'm sure she could bring in the core demographic that we are looking for. You know, let's get the word out there.
50-plus white folks in Pewaukee, Wisconsin. That's our market, baby.
Well, this is us signing out. We will catch you next week. Peace.
See ya.